Hello everyone, my name is Chris Gibbons. I'm the Director for the Healthcare Administration Program, also the coordinator for our Master's Program. Teach a bunch of classes here at the college and do a lot of other things, but I'm going to be helping you or guiding you through these next two assignments in using AI for your resume and also for your cover letter. Now before we get started, let me talk a little bit about AI. So I'm sure you've heard about it. Maybe some of you use it, and if you do, I congratulate you. I am definitely on the bandwagon for AI, but it came out about 2 years ago, and I'm somewhat of a hobbyist when it comes to this AI, and have been trying to learn as much as I can about it and its applications. And here's what seems pretty clear to me and to all the experts. I mean, crystal clear to me, is that AI will be one of the most important forces in your professional career going forward. And it seemed to have come out of nowhere about 2 years ago, but it is not going to go away. And its potential, just in what I've seen and I've used, is immense and will change the nature of work for all of us. And that process is just beginning to get started. So I highly encourage you to learn AI skills, understand it. Do not avoid it. This is something that employers right now, 75% of employers are looking for employees who have understanding of AI and AI skills. And also the multiplier effect of what AI can do. Personally, I've seen it. It probably makes me about 5 times or more productive. What I can do in a morning with AI would take other people a week or longer. So employers are going to be looking for those employees who have that ability to have that built-in value. So definitely take some time, learn AI, stay current with the trends. I guess if there's any one particular professional skill right now, that is the skill. Going forward with AI, just as we've seen it roll out, it's actually getting easier and more intuitive to use. We're seeing it now deployed across all different types of platforms. You may, if you have Microsoft Office, or it's now called 365, if you have that, you may have noticed that Copilot is now embedded in that. Copilot is ChatGPT, which is, I'm sure you've heard of that. That's one of the big AIs. That is now incorporated into all those traditional Office products. So it's there. Apple made an announcement later on this year. It's going to be deployed across their phones and their computers, laptops, desktops, etc. So it is coming in big waves, especially this year. So definitely don't turn a blind eye to it, because it will put you at I believe, a disadvantage in the job market. So there you go. I'll get off my soapbox there, but it is really, truly incredible. I'm sure I'll get back on my soapbox as we're talking a little bit about AI and doing these two assignments. But let's go ahead and take a look at the assignments, get started, get our feet wet with using AI. And these should be directly benefiting you with your future career searches or job promotions or what you're doing here. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is you're going to need to open an AI account. Now, there are multiple different types of AIs. I've experimented with just about every one that pops up. Just looking at my bar here, I've got GPT, Claude, Perplexity, Gemini, Pi. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them out there. But right now, the two leaders are ChatGPT and Claude. And I like them both, and I pay subscriptions for both of them. I like them so much. What we're doing here today is we're going to be using the free version, which is absolutely excellent. And we're going to be using ChatGPT, which is pretty much consistently the #1. Sometimes Claude is a little bit better for other things, but for the most part, I think you folks will get by for your first introduction. We're gonna choose ChatGPT, which is an OpenAI. That's the name of the company, their product. So you'll want to go to OpenAI. Again, the link is provided down in the assignment area. Go to OpenAI and you will want to open your ChatGPT account. Again, it's free. Both ChatGPT and Claude offer a subscription for $20 a month. It gives you some more bells and whistles, more memory, more, I guess, other features. But right now for this assignment, the version of ChatGPT is the best version available right now in the world, and it's free. So we're going to use that one. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and open that account if you don't have one already. Okay, once you have that open, let's take a look at the actual assignment and what we have to do here. So, get rid of my little reminders here. Our first, I guess, step in this assignment where we're going to ultimately we're going to enhance and tailor your resume using AI. But the first thing we need to do is we need to have a resume. So I'm going to assume that many of you already do have a resume. So if you do, great. You can kind of tune me out for a couple of moments here. But if you don't have a resume yet, you need to build one. So then you can see on this bullet point here, if you don't have a resume to start, you can use the template provided. And I'll show you this template here. And I'll say this for resume creation and for cover letters. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody will tell you what's the best thing and that's going to get you the job. What I'm sharing with you today, I guess, are standardized best practices. And that's what I would generally stick with when you're looking for healthcare administration jobs and business jobs. You don't want a resume with a lot of pictures on it or graphics or fancy. You may love it and think it's the greatest thing in the world because you got kittens and flowers on there. But an HR hiring manager is going to roll their eyes and probably move on. So keep it kind of plain, concise, and impactful, which is hopefully the AI will help us do that as we're going through these steps here today. But if you don't have that resume already, you're going to need to use this template. You can just follow along. There's prompt kind of suggestions of what you want to put in each one of these areas. When you get to work experience, when you list these accomplishments and responsibilities, it's always great to, if you have them, list quantifiable measures, such as, I don't know, I'll make this up. Implemented a program that reduced patient wait times by 20%. Okay, so that was the thing that you did. Then what was the impact? Great, 20%. What does that mean? And it's usually a revenue impact. That 20% reduction in wait time increased revenues by 17%, year to date or something like that. So if you have those kind of quantifiable measures in your job, great. Just as a little, I guess, pro-life tip as you're going along in life, when you do these things and you have that quantifiable measure, write it down, stick it somewhere, because when you're going to update your resume, you want to have that. So if that's something like, oh yeah, that's something I can put in my resume. So keep that in mind as you do that, because I learned from experience, because I've forgotten and I'll have to go back and try to find that information is difficult. So if you kind of record it as it happens, then that can make your keeping your resume up to date as much as possible. Okay, so you can use this template and you can just fill it out. Now, I really wouldn't worry too much about grammar. Just get the facts on here, because quite honestly, the AI is going to take care of sentence structure and grammar for us. So don't spend a lot of time wordsmithing. That will be taken care of for you. But just get the facts down on this template. If you don't want to do it that way, I will provide you another way to do it. Again, kind of getting you more involved with AI, is I've written a prompt that will guide you through the creation process of making your resume using that template. So, and all of these prompts will be provided for you. And I'll talk a little bit about what prompts are. But prompt, and you'll hear this all over the place when we talk about AI, it's just how you're what you're telling the AI. And you always want to be very kind of specific, give it context on how to think. One of the great ways to do that with a prompt is you tell it to be somebody. You could tell it to be, I want you to be a writer of science fiction that has, 30 years of writing experience in, I don't know, a certain genre of science fiction, and write me a short story based off of blah, blah, blah. You can do that, and it will write pretty much an amazing story for you. That's absolutely brand new. I mean, AI is not taking knowledge off the internet. It's very interesting. It's working just like a human brain. It takes all of the knowledge that it's been gleaning off of the internet, and then kind of through a synaptic neural net process produces these images or words or music, not that unsimilar to how the human brain works. So it's very interesting on how that works. But anyhow, you're going to take this prompt. It's a rather long one, but you're going to take this prompt and you're going to copy it. So you'll copy that prompt, and we're going to go down. Let me grab my copy version of this. And we're going to do our kind of our first interaction with AI. And I encourage you to read the prompts, read what it's doing and what we're asking it to do. That will help you in making your own prompts and playing with it. I highly encourage you to play with this. All of these prompts that I've written, and I've gleaned other people's prompts, written my own. I've even asked AI for help for making prompts in these assignments here. So it's a combination of all of that. But I've tried to tailor those from the perspective of a healthcare management role. So if you need to change that, you'll notice you could simply go in the prompt and change that. All right, so we've got this prompt, and we've opened up our AI account. And this is what ChatGPT will look like. And I'll give you these fun little suggestions here. They seem to be kind of at random and always changing. And you can won't even get into the sidebar stuff here. But what we'll want to do is you'll have this little drop-down box here. And you'll want to select GPT 4.0. This is the most recent, best version of that. Again, it will just ensure that we're getting the best answers and collaboration possible. And then this box down here is where all the magic will happen. This is how you'll talk to it. By the way, you can talk to it actually as well. You can verbalize with it and have conversations with it. But that's a whole other lecture and application. But it's and I'll talk about resume and interview practice in our last assignment. That's not required, but just something for you to look forward to and potentially use down the road. And down the road is probably next month on what it can do. But we'll talk about that later. All right, let me paste my prompt in here. This is for those folks who don't have a resume, who want to be kind of guided through the process rather than just typing on the template. This is going to guide you through the process and give you suggestions as you're kind of crafting that resume. So you put the prompt in there, again, all provided, and then you hit the arrow, and boom. And it's going to say, great, let's get started with contact information. And there you go. And it will go section by section, giving you recommendations as you go to craft that. Then once you're done, you can just copy and paste that, and you'll be ready to go. You may have to ask it at the end. You may have to say to it, now that we're done, please provide me the resume that we've written, and then hit the arrow button, and then it will provide that to you. I think I have not actually gone through each section because that would take quite a while to create one, but it should ultimately terminate with a final product for you. So if it doesn't, just ask it to, and then it will give it to you. But just real quickly here, again, on this first section, to kind of guide you through what are generalized best practices in my opinion, in the opinion of others, addresses, I wouldn't necessarily put an address on the resume. I mean, that will be on an application, but a resume may be seen by other people, and they don't necessarily need to be doing a Google Street View to see where you live. Yes, if you get hired, eventually people will have access to your address, but I think at this point, phone, email, location, city is perfectly fine. Okay, so there you go. Now you've got a way to use AI to help you write that resume. If you decide not to go just kind of the old school way and just use the template and write it yourself. All right, let's take a look at what's next on the assignment. I'm going to go back up. So now that we have the resume, whether it's pre-written already or you've used all that stuff to make one, now we're going to utilize the prompt to critique it. We're going to ask it to look at it. And even if you wrote it initially with the benefit of AI, please go through this step because it's going to add some additional insights into the resume. So let's take a look at the critique prompt. It's designed to look at, there's a lot of stuff here, but it's going to look at that resume kind of for best practices and language, and then offer you some suggestions about how to improve it. It won't necessarily improve it for you. I want you to go through that step of looking at its suggestions and then you deciding which suggestions that you want to implement. Could it do that? It could. But I want that extra step in there so you can see there may be some suggestions that you don't want to do. You prefer the way that it is, and that's absolutely fine. You remember the human will always, you're going to dictate your own fate here. So with this, so use it again as a collaborator. But if you don't like it, you can toss it out. All right, so you're going to copy that prompt, and now we're going to take. Let me copy my prompt over here. Sorry. Okay, so we're going to plug it into here, paste. Now, if you notice, if you read the whole prompt, here is the resume. We have to give it the resume that we have. So I have a sample that we're going to work with here today, and let's see here. This actually isn't. This is a real person's CV, but I've made up new information, personal information, so nothing identifiable. Now to drag over a file, I'm simply dragging over that Microsoft Word file and just dragging it right there. Boom. And it will prepare it to upload. So it's going to upload that. You can upload multiple documents, which we will do shortly. Right now, let's see what it has to say about it and see what kind of improvements and suggestions it has. We'll let this go through its process here, but again, you're going to take these improvements and suggestions and implement them if you wish. Notice how it has like revised. It'll say current and then revised. You can hit that where it says copy code. You can hit that copy. And maybe you like the revisions that it's suggesting. Again, make sure everything's accurate, factual. But if you like it, great. Go ahead and implement it, paste it, edit it right into your CV. Again, this one was a pretty good one. With the that kind of career summary, it was a little bit long, and it did suggest in here that that was tightened up and made more concise and specific. So that it does give some really good advice here on what to do. Again, once you just see these revised sections, you can copy that and put that in there if you like it. All right, so now you have all of these suggestions. Okay, so you're going to edit your resume, implement the suggestions that you want, and the next step on the assignment is I want you to do basically what we're going to call a super grammar check. And this thing does the best grammar checks ever. I mean, it's amazing. So let's see where we're at here. So we're going to go ahead, and I want you to use your revised resume with all those suggestions that you wish to implement. And we're just going to double check for grammatical errors and making sure it's clear. Because once, if human hands, you were on it and you were kind of typing and maybe you made some typos, or even with cut and paste, maybe you did something wrong there and it didn't quite make sense. This will hopefully clear that up. And you're going to use prompt number 3, which is a very simple grammatical prompt. I use this kind of prompt all of the time, but please proofread and rewrite the following resume, only checking for spelling, grammar, and readability. I don't want it to do anything else. If I didn't tell it to do that, it would do maybe a whole heck of a lot more. But I've already done that, and I don't want to go back down that rabbit hole. So all I wanted to do is just check for spelling, grammar, and readability. Okay, so I'm going to copy that prompt. And I'll scoot this over back to our AI. Paste the prompt in there, and I have to give it that revised resume. So I made some revisions. I put it in there, and now it's going to double check and clean it up. All right, excellent. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to copy paste that, and I'm going to put that in a Word document, and I'm going to call that my general resume. That's going to be kind of the platform that I'm going to work from in tailoring the resume to specific jobs. So this is kind of the cool part and the magic part. Well, all of it's kind of magic, but this will the customization of a resume and cover letter to specific jobs is one of the real powers that the AI has, that is really kind of unmatched in a lot of ways. So, all right. So now I've done that, and again, we're going to call this our general resume. Okay, not tailored in any way, and save that. You're going to keep that pretty much forever, and that's the resume that you're going to when you need to update, you're going to put your updates, in that general resume. Okay, so our next step, scrolling back up here. All right. So we've got our grammatical errors checked. we now have our general resume. What I want you to do is, in step number 3, is I want you to go out and find a job. Use a reputable job site. It could be a job site, a job board at a hospital system, or LinkedIn, or Indeed, wherever. But find a job description that of a job that you're actually interested in. And what I want you to do is copy that. And make sure, I notice that on some of these job boards, they'll only have like abbreviated qualifications, and then there'll be a drop-down box for more. Make sure you hit all the drop-down boxes and get all the information about that particular position, and you're going to copy and paste that into a Word document, and that'll be your job description that we're going to use. Then we're going to use your general resume, the job description, and the provided prompts to create a tailored resume. So prompt number 4, again, this is all given to you, but let me copy this here and off screen and look at prompt number 4. Again, this is going to take those 3 pieces and kind of merge them together. Now, I've asked it to assume that role as an expert resume writer, helping people with healthcare management roles. I'm asking it to please highlight the 3 most important responsibilities from the job description. So it's going to read that, sort that all out. Based on these key responsibilities in the job description, tailor my resume to align to the job description. And then this other one is kind of interesting. So we're going to hope that it drops some of these breadcrumbs in there. Ensure that the resume is ATS friendly. Now, ATS is the applicant tracking system. What is that? In most cases, if not all, your resume is not going to be read by a human being the first time. It's going to be read by AI. And that AI is looking for specific keywords that trigger to the job description that it's sorting for. You want to make sure that you have those keywords, if at all possible. So that's where this ATS-friendly language comes in here. And so we're going to do that by incorporating action verbs and profile-centric words into your resume. I'm constantly, because sometimes the AI will want to fabricate a few things, but I always remind it not to make up information. So please don't fabricate any information. You will be the ultimate checker for that. So always check this and make sure everything's factual. You do not want to get into a situation where it produces something not factual and you've submitted that resume to an employer and then you have to justify that. All right, so we're going to copy prompt number 4. And we'll go back to our AI. I can get rid of this. And we'll drop that in here. Okay, and remember, we need to give it the resume and the job description. So I have the general resume here. I'll drop that in. And the job description. Let's see. Oh, client service manager. Okay, because this particular person had a lot of, they were customer service, client service manager in previous roles, kind of assistant manager, so maybe now they're looking to move up. So this is kind of the hypothetical here. So I found this client service manager in a healthcare organization. All right, let's see what it does. It's identifying that. There's the 3 roles. That's interesting. The 3 roles are identified. Now it's going right into the next step. Look at that. Amazing. All right, so we will let that go through all of its paces as it continues to work through that. And let's go back to our assignment here. So once that's done, you'll copy and paste that into a Word document. Make sure it looks nice, like as a resume should, as far as fonts go, and don't use any fancy fonts or anything unusual there. You will double check it for that it's factual. Let's go back up to the assignment. We're almost done. So now that we have this tailored resume, what I want you to do is then write a 1-paragraph summary detailing your observations. So, how did the AI feedback in that one step, how did it help improve? Did you catch anything that you thought was interesting? What changes did you make based off of the feedback? And then also, I want you to take a look at the tailoring, and how did the tailored resume and the general resume, compare those kind of side by side and look, do you feel that that resume, was tailored for that specific job? Did it do a good job in that? So again, just your general observations there, and that just needs to be a 1-paragraph piece. But I definitely look at those side by side and see how it changed it. Maybe you were dead on and it didn't really change it that much. Maybe it did drop some of those ATS words that we need, breadcrumb them in the resume. Just a couple of them can make the difference for you. So that is what that is kind of one of the deliverables. So for submission, for the deliverables of this assignment, is you'll submit the general resume, that one that you made, that you ran through the grammar checker at the end. That's going to be your standard one that you're going to use. You're also going to submit your tailored resume, and please submit the job description that you used to create that. So you're going to have 3 sections on, and just please submit those in one document. So just cut and paste, just for simplicity's sake, and upload. Submit all of that within one Word doc. All right, guys, that pretty much concludes this first assignment. The next one will go a little bit quicker because now you're familiar with AI. We won't have to go through some of the basics there. Kind of an AI pro now, but we're going to create in assignment 2. We're going to create a cover letter with a hook. We'll talk a little bit about that and have it basically write the whole cover letter for us. But of course, you got to check it to make sure that it's factual as well. All right, guys, good luck with the assignment. Thanks.